In this video, we will show the installation of the WD Electronics turn signal kit for 2026 and newer Kawasaki Teryx H2 models. The following front turn signal styles will be demonstrated: sequential LEDs and round amber LEDs. Before you start the installation, collect the tools needed. You can follow this list of recommended tools or refer to the instruction document in your turn signal kit box. Remove the hood by first turning the two locking tabs, then sliding the hood up and away from the machine. Remove the front grille by first pushing down on the two locking tabs, then pulling the grille away from the machine. You will now disassemble the center dash cover. Start by removing the bezel for the display and pulling gently at the top corners. Remove the center Garmin display by pulling up on the locking tab behind the screen. Once the locking tab is released, remove the screen and set it aside to prevent it from getting damaged. Next, remove the display mount. Start by removing the two Phillips head bolts at the top of the mount. Then, remove the two 10mm hex bolts at the bottom of the mount. Once these bolts are removed, gently fold the mount down out of the way. Be careful with the display mount during the installation. We want to avoid damaging any of the pins for the display. Next, remove the two plastic push pins behind the display mount. Remove the two push pins at the bottom of the dash, near the lower cubby. Carefully pry the center dash panel from the bottom to release it from the dash. There will still be wires for the display mount and wires for the 12-volt cigarette lighter attached, so don't pull this panel too hard. Under the steering column, remove the two nuts from the right side of the tilt piston. Next, remove the bolt from the left side. There's a nut between the steering column and the tilt piston that needs to be held so the bolt can be threaded out. Remove the bolt, nut, and spacer from the tilt piston. Locate the turn signal lever and mounting bracket. Remove the two gold-colored screws from the switch and install the bracket with the bent tab facing the bottom. Reinstall the bolt through the bracket. Be sure to reinstall the spacer on the left side of the tilt piston and the nut on the right side of the tilt piston. Reinstall the first of the two nuts on the right side of the steering column. Make sure the face of the steering wheel is parallel with the body of the turn signal lever. Tighten the nut down. Reinstall the last nut on the bolt to secure the column switch completely. Verify the nuts are installed in the same order they were removed. Route the wire for the turn signal lever with the white 4-pin connector, following factory wiring on the steering column under the dash panel you removed in the last step. Secure the wire to the factory wiring using the included zip ties. Locate the control module. Our recommended mounting location is on the frame under the center dash panel in front of the amplifier if equipped. You will use a factory thread on the frame and a zip tie. Locate one of the included 10mm hex bolts in your hardware bag. Start threading the bolt by hand into the frame and secure it with a wrench. Secure the other side of the control module with a zip tie to ensure the control module won't move. If you've chosen to mount the control module in another location under the dash, verify that all wiring harnesses will reach your chosen location for the control module. Route the wiring covered in black wire loom from the control module to the steering column. Locate the wiring on the turn signal lever that you fed under the dash. Connect the wires using the mating connectors. Verify that they click into place fully. Remove the two center push pins on the dash cover. This will allow you to route wires between the dash and the firewall. You will now remove the running light assemblies from your machine. Start by removing the 3 push pins along the inside edge of each hood panel. Next, remove the 4 5mm Allen bolts from the fender flare. Now, pull the fender flare out slightly and remove the 10mm hex bolt located under the fender flare. Remove the push pin under the fender flare located above the headlight and reflector sticker. Next, remove the push pin from the backside of the lower bumper trim. Remove the 10mm bolt from the running light assembly. Remove the 2 mini push pins from the inside of the running light fascia near the grille opening. You can now gently pull the hood panel up to reveal 2 more push pins in the running light fascia. Remove the 2 push pins. Unplug the white connector from the running light by pressing down on the locking tab and sliding the connector free. Remove the fascia and running light assembly from the machine. Repeat the disassembly steps on the passenger side of the machine. Now it's time to install the front turn signals. If you purchased the 6 LED harness with the round amber LEDs, skip ahead to this time in the video. If you purchased the sequential LED strips, skip to this time in the video to see the installation. Locate the 6 LED harness and the extension harness in your turn signal kit. Route the 4-pin connector with the orange rubber grommet between the dash cowl and the firewall. Connect the 4-pin connector to the mating connector on the control module. Verify that the connectors click into place. Connect the 6 LED harness to the mating connector on the extension harness. Again, verify that the connectors click into place. Locate the side of the harness that does not have the driver's side label. Route the 3 LEDs to the passenger's side headlight following the factory wiring harness. Locate the side of the harness with the driver's side label near the 3 LEDs. Route the LEDs following the factory wiring harness towards the driver's side headlight. You will now mark and drill the holes for the 6 amber LEDs. You may mount the 6 LEDs wherever you like, provided that the wiring can reach, and there's enough space behind the plastic for the LEDs. Our recommended location is in the running light fascia you removed in the previous step. Mark the location for the 3 3/4 inch LEDs on the plastic panel you removed in the last step. The holes for the LEDs are 3/4 of an inch, but the rubber grommets are 1 1/16 inch when installed. Space the LEDs accordingly. Reinstall the panel without hardware prior to drilling to confirm that there's nothing behind the panel that can be damaged in the locations you chose. Carefully drill out the holes with a 3/4 inch spade bit or hole saw. Repeat the installation on the passenger side of the machine. If you are mounting in our recommended location, feed the LED through the opening for the white connector on the running light. Before reinstalling the headlight assembly, slip the black rubber grommets off the 3 LEDs onto the black and white wires. Feed 1 LED through the back side of each hole you drilled, followed by the rubber grommets. Install a grommet into each hole, making sure they are even, then press the amber LEDs into the grommets to secure them in place. When reinstalling the headlight assembly, verify that no wires are pinched before fully securing. Secure any extra length of wire under the dash and secure any exposed wire to the factory wiring harness, ensuring the wires are secured away from any hot or moving components that could damage them. Now that the 6 LEDs are installed, skip ahead to this point in the video to continue the installation. Now that the running light assembly has been removed, you can install the LED strips into the assembly. Remove the 2 Phillips screws at the top of the light housing. Feed the LED strip between the light housing and the plastic, with the wiring on the LED strip facing towards the center of the machine. Verify that the groove on the LED strip sits behind the body-colored plastic on the top edge. Feed the extra length on the LED strip behind the plastic towards the outside of the machine. Locate the longer replacement screws for the headlight housing in the bag of hardware. Verify the LED strip won't be pierced by the screw, and gently tighten the 2 screws down. Adjust the LED strip so that it sits level in between the headlight housing and the plastic before tightening the screws down all the way. Verify all the holes are lined up straight and the screw is not going in at an angle. This is a tight fit, so be careful not to strip your front plastic. Repeat the installation on the passenger side. Reinstall each headlight assembly in the opposite order they were removed. Route the wire for the LED strip through the hole for the white plug that you disconnected when removing the assembly. Verify the wire for the LED strip is not pinched while reinstalling. Locate the harness with the 2 black boxes and 2 blue mating connectors for the LED strips on the ends. Route the 2 mating ends of the harness between the dash cowl and the firewall. Locate the side of the harness with the driver's side label. Route this wire following the factory wiring harness toward the back of the driver's side headlight. Make the connection to the mating connector on the LED strip and tighten the metal screws to secure the plug. Do not force the connectors together. These round connectors are keyed and will only fit together in one direction. Repeat the installation on the passenger's side. Route the wire following the factory wiring harness towards the back of the passenger's side headlight. Connect the 4-pin connector on the harness to the mating connector on the control module. Verify that the connectors click into place. Secure the wiring using the included zip ties and secure the LED ballasts on the harness to the bar under the dash. At the rear of the machine, locate the factory connector in the driver's side taillight housing. Disconnect the plug on the taillight by lifting the locking tab and sliding the connector free. Locate the inline taillight adapters in your turn signal kit. At the driver's side taillight, install the adapter with the extra 2-pin plug with the blue locking clip in line with the factory wiring harness and the taillight housing. Next, remove the push pin underneath the taillight. At the passenger's side taillight, disconnect the plug by lifting the locking tab and sliding the connector free. Install the adapter with the long white wire in line with the factory wiring harness and the taillight housing. Again, remove the push pin underneath the taillight. On the rear edge of the bed of the machine, remove the 4 push pins. Gently pull the top edge of the panel away from the machine. It will still be connected to the frame at the bottom. Route the long white wire following the factory wiring harness to the driver's side taillight adapter. Secure the white wire to the factory harness using the included zip ties. Remove the rear bench seat by lifting from the front edge on each side and sliding the bench away from the seat backs. Remove the bench and set it aside. Next, release the driver's side rear seat back by pulling from the bottom of the seat. Carefully lift the seat up and off of the seat frame and set it aside. In the passenger's front wheel well, near the center of the firewall above the axle, locate the corrugated conduit. Remove the plug or end cap and set it aside. For the next step, you'll need approximately 10 feet of light twine, fishing line, or string. The best way to route the long black cable to the rear of the machine is by pulling the cable through the conduit with a string. In the passenger side wheel well, Start feeding 6 to 12 inches of string into the conduit. Locate the other side of the conduit next to the battery under the rear seat. Put a vacuum hose on the end of the conduit. Use the vacuum to pull the string through the conduit. Make sure the end of the string at the front of the machine is tied off or held so that it doesn't get sucked all the way through. In the front passenger seat, remove the center console by removing the 9 push pins. Carefully remove the panel from the machine. Locate the long black cable in your turn signal kit. Connect the 3-pin connector to the mating connector on the control module. Route the wire down under the center console and pull the length of cable through. Route the wire out of the machine near the coolant hoses. Locate the bullet terminals in the wheel well and pull the length of cable through. Attach the string to the long black cable using a knot and electrical tape. Gently pull the string at the battery until the long black cable is routed all the way through the conduit. Make sure the black cable doesn't get hung up on anything in the front end while you're pulling the cable through. Next, route the cable from the battery, following the factory wiring harness, up behind the seat back you removed. Route the cable through the opening in the firewall. Locate the bullet terminals in the driver's side rear wheel well and pull the length of cable through. Route the cable up the firewall behind the metal panel. Continue following the factory wiring harness to the driver's side taillight adapter you installed. At the driver's side taillight, make the 3 connections between the long black cable and the taillight adapter. Verify they are connected red to red, black to black, and white to white, and that the plastic insulation is fully covering each connection. Go back and secure the black cable to the factory wiring harness along the length of the machine using the included zip ties. Secure any extra length of wire under the rear seat or under the dash. Verify that the cable cannot contact any hot or moving components, especially near the engine and suspension. Trim 1/4 of the plug or end cap for the conduit using a razor blade. Reinstall the plug into the conduit. Reassemble the bed with the push pins you removed to route the white wire on the taillight adapter. Locate the license plate mounting bracket in your turn signal kit. Our recommended mounting location is on the plastic underneath the exhaust pipes. Hold the bracket up in your desired mounting location. Once you have the bracket lined up where you'd like it, mark 2 spots on the plastic using a marker or center punch. Drill out 2 holes with a 1/4 inch drill bit. Secure the mounting bracket to the bumper with the included nuts and bolts. Use a pair of scissors or side cutters and cut a small 1/4 inch to 1/2 inch tab out of the top of your license plate. Leave enough space for the wires on the LED frame to come through. Bend the tab over so that it lies flat, or cut it off. Install your trimmed license plate into the LED license plate frame. Line up the top 2 holes on the frame with the holes on the mounting bracket. Secure the frame and license plate to the mounting bracket using the included bolts and nylon lock nuts. Verify that the wiring is not pinched before fully securing everything down. Locate the power cable in your license plate kit. It has a black and blue 2-pin connector on one end and 2 bullet terminals on the other end. Connect the 2-pin connector to the mating connector on the driver's side taillight adapter you previously installed. Route the bullet connectors following the factory wiring toward the center of the machine. Once you reach the horizontal frame, route the wire to the license plate. Connect the power cable to the LED frame using the mating bullet terminals. Verify that it is connected red to red and black to black, and that the plastic insulation is fully covering each connection. Where the bullet terminals connect, secure the wire with an edge clip zip tie. Secure the rest of the power cable to the factory wiring harness and the frame of the machine using zip ties. Verify that it's secured away from any hot or moving components. Locate the horn housing in your turn signal kit. Our recommended location is in the passenger side front wheel well along with the frame. Remove the 12mm bolt from the frame. Reinstall the bolt through the larger hole in the horn bracket. Install the horn housing through the open hole on the mounting bracket using the included nut hand tight. You may have to slightly bend the bracket out so the horn doesn't contact the frame. Clock the horn so it's facing down and won't collect water. Once the horn is facing down, tighten the nut all the way. Select an open rocker switch slot in your dashboard, located under the display. You may need to cut out the desired opening with a razor blade along the pre-marked slot. Once the opening is cut, locate the horn harness with the rocker switch. Feed the entire horn harness through the front of the slot. Verify that the rocker switch is facing the correct direction and clip the switch into place in the dash. Locate the black and blue 2-pin connector under the dash. You may pop the switch panel free if needed to give yourself some more space. Route and connect the 2-pin connector to the mating connector on the control module. Verify that the connectors click into place. Locate the remaining red and black wire with the spade terminals. Route the spade terminals between the dash panel and the firewall into the hood and pull the length of wire through. Route the spade connectors following the factory headlight wiring until you reach the horn housing. Connect the red and black wires with the spade terminals to the mating connectors on the horn housing. These connections are reversible and may be connected in either direction. Secure the wiring with zip ties following the factory wiring harness under the dash and in the wheel well. Make sure to secure the wiring away from any hot or moving components that could damage the cables. You will now install the two blue LEDs to indicate which direction your turn signal is flashing. Our recommended location is in the bezel or the surround for the Garmin display. You can be creative and mount these wherever you like, provided that the wiring harness will reach and there's a 2 to 3 inch space behind the panel you'll be mounting to. Locate the bezel or surround you unclipped from the dash. Mark the locations for the two LEDs to be mounted. Once you've verified there's nothing behind the marked locations in the bezel, drill the two holes with a 3/8 inch or 7/16 inch drill bit or step drill bit. Install the rubber O-ring around each LED and slide it to the top. Install one LED into each hole. Install the locking washer and nut on the back side of the plastic and tighten the nuts down. Next, locate the harness for the blue LEDs. It should have a 4-pin connector on one side and 4 spade terminals on the other side. Connect the 4-pin connector to the mating connector on the control module. Verify that the connectors click into place. The side of the harness that matches up to the orange and gray wire on the control module connector will power the left driver's side indicator, and the side that matches up with the blue and gray wires on the control module will power the right passenger's side indicator. Route the spade connectors following the factory wiring for the Garmin display. Feed the spade terminals through the opening where the display mount is. You will connect these terminals to the LEDs once the dash is put back together, right before you install the bezel for the screen. Under the dash, below the control module, locate the 3-post bus bar. You will connect the ring terminals as follows: red to accessory power and black to ground. The center battery post will not be used. Remove the dust boot and nut from each post on the bus bar. Locate the power cable in your turn signal kit. Install the ring terminals onto the posts. Reinstall the nuts, tighten them down, and reinstall the dust boots on the bus bar. Route the bullet connectors following the factory wiring harness to the control module. Make the connections between the control module and power cable using mating bullet terminals. Verify that they are connected red to red and black to black, and that the plastic insulation is fully covering both connections. Reinstall the dash panel in the opposite order it was removed. Before reinstalling the bezel for the screen, connect the spade terminals to the blue LEDs. Connect the red and black spade for the driver's side wire to the left LED, and the red and black spade connector for the passenger side to the right LED. The red and black wires for each can be connected in either direction. They're reversible. Reinstall the bezel for the display. Remember to tie up any loose wiring and replace any panels you removed previously. Now you're ready to test your turn signals. To ask us installation-related questions or to order a premium turn signal kit, please visit wdelectronics.com.